Welcome into the Skol Purple podcast as the Minnesota Vikings have once again won a one-score game. They are now 6-1 on the season, and as I am joined by Tony Stegeman, wanting to know where his purple is. I want to know where your purple is, Tony. But most importantly, the Vikings getting the win, even without you wearing your purple right now. So,
yeah, I
but
got a little too comfortable during the bye week. Apparently, to be honest with you, I didn't even notice, and now I kind of feel like it's a good luck charm.
That's right. That's right. Just don't wear purple. And by the way, this is the first year I've been in my residence where I'm at right now, and every time I've watched a game here, the Vikings have won. So I guess I'm just going to watch every game here the rest of the year. I'm not going to go to a game. I'm not going to, I'm not going to risk it, man. We got to keep it going.
Exactly. Yeah, I got to keep the winning streak alive. 6-1.
That's right. That's right. Hopefully we will get a couple others in the show as well here throughout the course of the Fan Express line today. Glad everybody hopefully will join us here eventually and get your comments in and tell us your thoughts and feelings from the game. But the Vikings defeat the Cardinals 34-26 and are now, as we mentioned, 6-1.
6-1.
Can you
Yeah,
believe
man,
that?
how did you, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being that you have zero confidence and you are in a terrible mood, and 10 being that you think we're Super Bowl bound, how are you feeling after today's win?
That's a good question. That is a good question. So let me just start by saying I am more okay with winning this way against this team than I am winning in the way we did against Chicago and against the Saints and against who was the other team in there? The Lions. And then trying to think the other, the Dolphins, based on who they played in that game and based on, and I know it was maybe felt more like a bigger win against the Dolphins, but I'll take a 6.5. I'm feeling pretty decent, but I mean, obviously, I would love for the offense to just bring the hammer down, kind of like I tweeted out on our Twitter account. It's just like we can't put teams away, and the fact that they had a chance till that very end again, like just it's hard. It's hard to watch because eventually when you like the Cardinals are a pretty good team, but they're not a great team and they're probably not even a really good team. And when you go to Buffalo in a couple of weeks, and first of all, who knows if it'll even be that close? Secondly, do you really think Buffalo is going to give you those chances like the Cardinals did today? Turn the ball over 3 times. Do you really? I mean, is it possible? Is it absolutely possible? Yes, but the odds of it happening against Buffalo are a lot less, and especially since it's at Buffalo in that game. But I am definitely worried about the sustainability of which the Vikings are winning. And I guess if they just keep doing it, then obviously my worries are going down the drain. But it is definitely something I'm worried about, more specifically against teams that are top echelon teams, top 5, top 10 type of teams, which I don't think the Cardinals are a top 10 team. They're probably more of a top 15-ish team. So 6.5, I'll put it as my scale of where I think I'm pretty pleased, but at the same time, like, can we just have a comfortable win? We had the chance. I know you tweeted it out to go up 21-3 there Offense sputtered once again. And I was a little taken back, I got to admit, by Kevin O'Connell's comments to Christina Pink. Like, we're going to have, he basically said, we're going to have drives where we're not going to score every drive. And that's not what we're asking. We're not asking you to score every drive. Obviously, we know that's not going to happen. But when you have a chance to put a team away like the Vikings did, they've got to do it. They just have to, especially with the way that this defense is, Tony. That is just something that the Vikings have to be better at going forward.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think that ultimately, I'm right there with you. I mean, you kind of stole my number because I think I'm a little more than a 6. I feel pretty good about it. And to your point, I think that the way that we won today's game, it didn't feel like we necessarily backed in, to the win versus maybe some other wins where it felt like we were kind of backpedaling and obviously we had a couple breaks today. I certainly felt like we had a couple breaks where they had the muff punt, certainly the interceptions. I don't know. I know at least one of those interceptions was more of a miscue offensively than it was a really great defensive play. I mean, obviously you have to make the interception, so I'm not trying to discredit what our guys were able to do. But yes, to your point, to not sound super negative, I feel like today gave me a bit more positivity than maybe some of our other wins where it was this close at the end. To your point, and yes, I tweet a lot today because I was feeling the tweets. Yeah, we had times where we could have put this game away. The fact that we couldn't capitalize off that first turnover and make it 21-3 would have been huge. The late missed extra point to make it 9 instead of 8. Like, I just think that those are the little things that against really good teams, certainly a team like Buffalo, that could be the difference easily between winning and losing. So, yeah, I would say I'm about 6.5 as well. I think that's a good mark.
Yeah, we got my boy Rap getting in here and giving his feedback here. So appreciate it, Skol, man. I gotta be honest with you, Rap. I'm a little disappointed with how we're winning some of these games, but it is good to be 6-1. Like, you can't deny that. That is for sure. But like I said, it is going to be interesting when you play a team like Buffalo in a couple of weeks. Are you going to be able to sustain this type of a game, like winning this type of a game against them? I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced of that. So that is, I don't think I'm ready to say Super Bowl contenders yet. If they beat Buffalo, then I'm gonna probably start to feel more like that for sure. But like I said, the Cardinals are probably more like a top 15 team in the league, which is more impressive than the last 4 wins, I feel like. But again, I think the real test is going to come against Buffalo when the Vikings play them in a couple of weeks. So, Tony, anything you want to add on that?
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Rap. As far as are we Super Bowl contenders or not, I think that in the NFC, you can't feel too bad about our chances. I know that obviously Philly is going to be a tough out. They're certainly looking very good, and especially now that they've added another piece to their defense with the trade this week. So, yeah, I mean, Philly's kind of the team to beat, but boy, wouldn't it be a great and sweet storyline if the Vikings were to take out the Eagles in, let's say, NFC Championship game. I do worry about our chances against any of the Tier 1 AFC teams, but I think if we get to that point, we're probably talking about Super Bowl, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. That is a good point. Appreciate Let's Go Vikings. We need to get that changed, man. Get it changed. 6-1, man. We let's see if you can change it like as the show goes on here, so we can we can shout you out for changing it, man. We gotta get that changed. 6-1, Skol Vikes, baby. But let's talk a little bit here, Tony, about this game. Let's start from the first quarter on, and then people make sure to voice your comments, and we'll try our best to answer those as we go along here. But let's start from the first quarter. Vikings once again able to go down and score on the opening drive, take a 7-0 lead early. I believe that was correct, because they lost the coin toss and went down and scored. And was that the Dalvin Cook run? Was that the Dalvin Cook run, or was that?
It was either the Dalvin Cook. Was it Dalvin, or was it Madison that got? Or was it? Wait, which touchdown was the Munt touchdown?
I think it was the second drive that they scored.
Yeah. So the first first touchdown.
Oh, it was rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Kirk.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. It was Kirk that ran it in there, and he was able to. He showed the wheels. That was fantastic touchdown run by Kirk there. So that's all right. He got it. 6-1. Sound the horn. Here we go. 6-1, man. Love it. 6-1. But that was a fantastic run. Like, Kirk Cousins showed off that mobility, and I think that maybe went away in the second half, and I do think part of that was because of the pressure that the Cardinals were able to get. Again, Ed Ingram just is not adjusting well to the NFL right now. But yes, sir. We'll give you the horn again. There you go. I like that. I liked seeing that mobility, man. And I'm going to tell you right now that the Vikings are going to need that Kirk Cousins to show up in Buffalo and in big games in the postseason. He's going to have to make plays with his legs. He is going to have to. I guarantee it, because the Vikings just have to the way he was able to step away from pressure at times in that first quarter, mainly that first quarter. That's exactly the Kirk Cousins that needs to show up when Ed Ingram starts to struggle, or even Garrett Bradbury, who I don't know. I wasn't really paying much attention to Bradbury today. I know Ed Ingram was not good, but it's something where if Ingram continues to struggle, Kirk's going to have to do that, and he did it today early on, and then the touchdown to Johnny Munt on the next drive after the Cardinals got the field goal. And then once again, there goes the offense disappearing for a long period of time again, Tony. Vikings offense disappearing after they scored with 9 minutes, 59 seconds to go in the second quarter. They did not score again until the 5:51 mark of the third quarter. And the, let's see that drive here. It was only a 58-yard drive on that one, and then the second one was set up by the Harrison Smith interception, I believe. And so, or maybe it was another turnover. The Cardinals had 3 turnovers. That might have been the one that was the bobble on the punt by the Cardinals. But so the Vikings did also. That's another thing. Maybe we shouldn't give too much credit to the offense in that second half, because the defense and special teams kind of helped set up those couple of those touchdowns for the Vikings. And obviously, yes, that's what you want. But at the same time, I felt like the offense was flat at times in that second half, and even from that second quarter into the third quarter. And I think that's something that is noteworthy. Let's see, Tony. We can't hear you right now. Now
you're good.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
All right. Yeah, I think that the theme for this defense so far this year has been opportunistic. I think that's probably my best way or the best way I have found to describe this defense. I don't think this is a staunch defense. I don't think this is a defense that's going to instill a lot of fear in most teams. But they are going to take opportunities. Certainly opportunities to take the ball away.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, the Vikings offense moving the ball well once again on their first couple of drives. The Munt touchdown, as well as the Kirk Cousins rushing touchdown on the first drive. He if he gets rushed, he needs to run if no one's open. Absolutely, 100%. Let's go Vikings. More questions, more things you want to say, go ahead and put them in the comments section. Would love to answer questions that you guys have. Trade deadline is coming up. Let us know if you have any thoughts or questions about the trade deadline. But yeah, like I said, I was a little taken back by Kevin O'Connell's comments on we're not going to score on every drive. He kind of scoffed at Christina Pink the way she made it sound. It's like, well, yeah, we know you're not going to score every time, but you can't just go into a deep sleep offensively for a quarter. That's, like I said, that's just not going to fly when you go against Buffalo.
Yeah, I think that for me, I didn't, I don't know. I mean, those comments to me, not to give him a pass, but I don't know. I always feel like they're going to give the PR friendly, they're not going to tip their hand one way or the other. If they're really upset or they're really happy. I suppose if they're really happy, they generally don't have a problem saying so. But usually if they're really upset or if they're going to make adjustments, they're never going to say anything. They're just going to kind of say, well, we're going to go back to the drawing board. So I'm sure it was probably, my guess, one of those things where it's just like, look, at the end of the day, we're not going to score on every drive. And while that might be true, he's not giving us any intel one way or the other there. So,
and maybe that's just an internal conversation that they're having because they want to maybe keep that in-house, or maybe he'll address it when they get into the post-game interview here as well, to talk a little bit about that. But it is interesting to think about for sure what the Vikings can do to fix those woes. And honestly, I was hoping to see those woes fixed going into this game because they had the bye week, they had the extra week to prepare for this game and kind of get some of the aging veterans some rest. And they had no injuries coming into the week. I will be interested to see the injury report coming out earlier this week because with Zadarius Smith going down at one time. I know Adam Thielen went down at one time. Trying to think if there was another one or two. Dalvin Tomlinson went down as well. So it's amazing how one game can just change everything. It seemed like everybody was talking about how healthy the Vikings were coming into, and maybe those guys will all end up being fine, but it is just amazing how quickly, by the snap of the fingers, that something can change in this league.
Yeah, certainly. I'm looking forward. That's weird to say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to understanding the severity of the injuries. Certainly to see if we have anything that's going to linger. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're all just, injuries that we'll be able to either get through during the week, or if anybody has to miss any time, it's, going to be pretty limited, hopefully to a week or so. So that's the hope. And being a realist too, of course I want to see the Vikings win next week. I want to see them win every week. But if we do have guys that are a little banged up going into that Buffalo game, I would rather as soon have them, not try to play through an injury and then risk more time being away from the team than going into a game that I think is going to be pretty tough. It's going to be pretty telling tonight because I do think we're better than Green Bay. But if they really, really take Green Bay to task, that's going to tell you just how good this Bills team is. It's gonna be a fun game. But yes, looking forward to next week. I hope to get some clarity on the injuries. I just think this team is trending in the right direction. I love that. Obviously winning is great. It makes us get a little closer to feeling like we should be winning games. And what I mean by that is our team going into games really believing that a win is there for the taking. So hopefully we just continue to move that forward. And boy, it would be great to really have a statement win next week. But we'll revel in our wins for today, and then come Wednesday we can start thinking about the Bills.
Absolutely. To your point, Dad, as I just gonna call everybody Dad in the chat. He is actually my dad, but the most aggravating thing about the offense in this game, I'm interested to get your thoughts, Tony. To me, the most aggravating thing about this whole offensive plan was the 4th down and 3rd down and 1 early on in the game. And I think were we up 14-3 at that point, and we were trying to go down and score more? I think it was something like that. But I was so aggravated because they did not run the ball on either one of those downs. Like, I get if you're going to throw on one of the two, but the fact that you guys were running all over this defense and you don't run one time on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, like, what are we doing? What are you doing there, Kevin O'Connell? So what are your thoughts there on that, Tony?
Yeah, I would say that, obviously I'm happy because we won. I would have been a lot more upset if we had not won the game, but yeah, I was pretty irritated. I think the 4th and 1 bothered me quite a bit because, it was a moment in the game where we really could have separated ourselves early. And while I liked the 4th and 1, I liked the fact that we were aggressive. The play call was just not a good play call. And I know that it's subjective and hindsight's 20/20 because we didn't convert, and if we had, then we wouldn't be talking about it. But even if we would have, I think I'm an objective and a fan to know that it was just a risky play call. There were a lot of the things we could have done there. Had we have gotten stuffed in the run, I still would have liked that call better because we were actually having success in the run game. So it just felt to me like it was a bad, hurried play call almost. Like maybe they threw a play call in there because they kind of couldn't get something in right away. I don't know. I'm not on the team. But that was disappointing. It just felt like, again, there were a lot of moments where we could have separated ourselves much earlier and we could have made things much easier on ourselves. Common theme. And we didn't. So obviously, we're good enough to beat a team like Arizona and do those things. My worry is that, are we good enough to beat, the Eagles or the Bills with those kinds of mistakes? And I don't think that answer is yes. So I just want to see a cleaner football game from our Vikings.
So I have to say, let's go Vikings. As much as I love Justin Jefferson, I was not hoping he scored today because I'm playing him in fantasy. So there you go.
Yeah, I felt like a little bit of a genius, to be honest with you, because in my fantasy teams, I played Rondale Moore. So there's that.
I was also playing Alvin Kamara today. And
so you're getting the drinks then.
That is correct. I have a chance because I have Cooper Kupp and Joe Burrow yet. But I am down by a large margin.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty good because not for a little teaser for everybody that's listening, I'll give a little plug for one of our other episodes. Make sure to head on out to YouTube to catch the full episode, of course. But I did an interview for right here at the Skol Purple podcast with one of our fellow Viking fans earlier this week, Mr. Tanner Anderson, and we picked our fantasy teams for the week. And the core of my fantasy team was Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Tony Pollard, and DeAndre Hopkins, and those are looking pretty good right now.
Yeah. Especially old DeAndre Hopkins and Tony Pollard, too, for that matter.
Yeah, they're all looking. And I think A.J. Brown had 3 touchdowns today from Jalen Hurts, who was my quarterback.
Yeah. So hopefully Cooper Kupp goes off for my fantasy team's sake. I'll end it right there with the fantasy team talk. But any other thoughts on this game? I want to go back to what you were saying there. Let's go Vikings 6-1. I think we need Desmond King for Chandon Sullivan. You know it, man. You know it. That is my pipe dream right there.
That's Carson's hot take. Obviously, I don't think that's a bad take. It would be nice to get some help on the defense. Give credit where credit's due. I felt like Sullivan had, a few moments today where he showed up and not a negative way. So I was happy about that. Ultimately, this defense is, this is not the 2015, 16, 17 Mike Zimmer defense. And as much as we want to rag on, the Zim, he knew how to put together a pretty darn good defense. And I think we just got so used to seeing that for so many years, obviously outside of the last 2, which ultimately led to his exit, or part of the reason. And I just think as Vikings fans, we got a little spoiled. We got a little spoiled with a very, very good defense for many years. And now that we have this kind of middle of the road, because as the stat guy,
Cooper Kupp.
Oh, nice. Yeah, as the stat guy, I can tell you that as bad as we all feel the Vikings defense is, and it's not great, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're not the worst defense out there. I mean, our defense it's middle of the road. It's probably in the bottom 45%. You know what I mean? Somewhere in there. But we were good against the run today. Not that I was super worried about Elijah Moore or anything. But, it's still a thing, and it made them a little more one-dimensional. And that's really all you're trying to do on defense is make them more predictable. So if it's going to be stopping the run one game or if it's going to be stopping the pass another game, I think that's what this defense is just trying to do. It's just trying to make the other team more one-dimensional so we can make them predictable and then see if we can hold them off long enough for our offense to go to work.
Yeah, to your point, Tony, on it could be worse. That is a very Minnesota thing of you to say. So just because it could be worse doesn't mean we want it to. And then also, I just don't like it when people are like, well, it could be worse, so it's okay. because my only hesitation with that, like if we're scoring enough points to, where it's not even going to matter, like that's fine. That's fine. Then you can have a 15 to 20 type of defense or a little worse. But when they're not scoring as much as we'd like them to, pretty much like today, I mean, they did score 34, but again, the defense, special teams help set that up a lot of times, especially that second half. Well, all the second half. But it's like just you cannot continue to play poorly in pass defense. And I actually haven't even looked to see what Kyler Murray's stats. Let's take a look. He threw for 326 today. And the rushing defense was actually pretty decent. Murray only ran for six times for 36 yards, which isn't bad. And then everybody else pretty much had under 3 yards a carry, except for Rondale Moore, who only touched the ball twice in the rushing attack. But yeah, the passing defense, which was 28th according to Fox's rankings. I don't know if you caught that as they were announcing things, but it is a very, very worrisome thing to think about the Vikings going into Buffalo in a couple of weeks with the 28th worst passing defense. I am not ready for that. Tony, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm not super excited. If I didn't tip my hand enough, uh, if I didn't tip my hand enough earlier in this segment, I don't. I mean, granted, I might get booted off this podcast, and might get my Vikings card revoked because this will be the second game in a row where I have predicted a Vikings loss. Because I predicted us to lose to the Cards, and I certainly am happy I was wrong. But I'm a little bit more, I'm a little bit more settled in my convictions that this Buffalo game is going to be pretty tough. And while I'm not going to count the Vikings out, if you were asking me to bet wins and losses, this is just one where my dollars would be on Buffalo. So I agree with you. I think that there are things we need to shore up. I just think that if we're not going to be good, we just need to be scrappy, right? And that just means that when there are opportunities to take away the ball, that we need to take away the ball. And then we need to capitalize on offense. Because that's where we've seen teams in the past that have made deep, deep playoff runs where they've been able to succeed. And then it's funny because the narrative will switch. It'll say, well, look at this defense. They're playing so well. And then you look at the numbers. They're not great, but they're getting a lot of turnovers. That's what we need this defense to be. So if we can continue on that path, we could win a lot of games.
I think
there needs to be a T-shirt that just says this statement. They've got to stop giving me heart attacks with a Vikings horn on it.
Yeah. No, it's for sure. I mean, my blood pressure is just all over the map. I mean, I don't know. We should almost just be given like medication if you're a Vikings fan. Like, I think that should be one of the pre-screening questions when you check in for like a doctor's visit. They'll say, have you any pre-existing conditions, and one of the boxes just says Vikings fan on it. And then when you check that, they know we don't even need to take your blood pressure or pulse. They're gonna be high. Get you on some Lipitor and send you on your way.
Yeah. Or if you have any pre-existing, like for the application to become a Vikings fan, if you have any pre-existing health conditions, that automatically throws you out because you can't handle it.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a strong person, and I'm not there. I need to start jogging. I'm not in the best of shape, so this is really at my own risk.
That's right. Hey, Grandizer man, appreciate you getting in here. I know you are the busiest man on YouTube. I have a firm belief in that. With all the moderating that you do. So yes, your Dolphins. Hey, they pulled it out against the Motor City Kitties, as I like to refer to them as. I think Paul Allen maybe has referred to them as that too. I like that, but. Nice win for the Dolphins, even though it was closer than maybe they would have liked. But I do get the whole, it's a common one-score thing. Like winning games or having games be one score is a common thing in the NFL these days. But we had the most of them last year around the NFL, and we're kind of on track. We're kind of on track to do that again. And no pity for the kitty. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. But Tony, let's you know what I just thought of? Let's give a game ball to each let's each give a game ball for the Vikings today. Let's start with you. Who, if you had to give the game ball to somebody today, who would it be?
I'm gonna go Patrick Peterson, because I felt as if, did he have a perfect game? No. But is he an aging veteran corner who has seemed to be a liability a little bit this year at times? Yeah. And I felt like he showed up to play today against his old team. It looked like he really wanted to win this game, and he certainly made some plays that kept us in this game. So I'm giving one of my game balls to P2 Patrick Peterson.
Excellent choice. I think I've got to give mine to Za'Darius Smith. 7 total tackles for Z today. 3 3 sacks. 3 sacks. See what I did there? 3 sacks for Zadarius Smith. That gets the horn. Absolutely. But yeah, Zadarius Smith also dealing with an injury at one point in the game. Just grinning and bearing it. Absolutely, yes. Patrick Peterson played a really good game, other than one pass interference call, which was questionable. But I really admire what Zadarius Smith brought today, because again, Danielle Hunter has been pretty silent in terms of the statistics. I don't know what his PFF grade will end up being, but statistically speaking, Danielle Hunter's been silent, and Zadarius Smith, another 3 sacks today. And maybe part of the problem is that they are paying more attention to Danielle Hunter and letting Zadarius Smith do his thing instead. But give Zadarius Smith credit. He's been doing his thing, and the Vikings defense, I don't believe, would be where they are without Zadarius Smith making his plays. So my game ball to Zadarius Smith, who has come from the evil empire of the NFL and has come to the good side in Minneapolis and has helped propel this defense to being not as bad as it could be.
Yeah, I like that one. The second game ball for me, and I'm going to go kind of low-hanging fruit here, but I thought Dalvin had a game today. I thought he played well. I thought he fought hard for yards. Obviously, he got at least one score. Was it 1 or 2? I know Madison sniped one from him at the goal line there. But yeah, it's just nice to see Dalvin continue to chug. He had a couple of really good chunk yardage plays. Overall, I feel like without the run game, we probably weren't, in as good of shape today. I felt like the pass game, we struggled a bit at times. Certainly, there were moments where it just felt like we couldn't get anybody open, and the run game kind of carried us a little bit there. So yeah, I'm going to go Dalvin for my second game ball.
I have to agree with Let's Go Vikings here. Was definitely scary when he got hurt. Zadarius and pretty much everybody. I was a little scared. I gotta be honest with you. But definitely thankful Zadarius Smith is okay. Appreciate Night Inks getting in here. He's an Eagles YouTube creator, and again, the Eagles just continue to steal the NFC, man. Like, appreciate you popping in here. But your Eagles, man, I'm worried that we're going to have to play them again in the postseason if things keep going the way they are. And I know it would be great. I agree with you, Tony. It would be great to beat them in Philadelphia. I just am not convinced that would happen.
Yeah, boy, I'm worried. I mean, I think the Eagles certainly look like they are the cream of the crop of the NFC right now. I don't see another team usurping them at this point. But at the same time, we Vikings fans also know, because we've had some good seasons. Sometimes when you get on these winning streaks, the confidence builds, and sometimes you need the losses to keep you humbled, and that's why you look at the Patriots here when they went undefeated in the regular season, and they weren't able to close it out. Sometimes I just think, you need to know about the things that you don't do well, and sometimes losing can help you with that. So if I were the Eagles if I were an Eagles fan, I'd certainly be riding high. But maybe
Flying high.
maybe a loss or two later in the season wouldn't be so bad for their team, for the longevity of their run.
That's right. No more Monday night for Kirk.
Yeah, look, I almost gave I'm not going to say it because I want to let you give your second game ball, and then I will talk about my potential game ball. How's that?
Sounds good. I'll let you take. I'm not going to steal your thunder. I'll let you give your game ball to Kirk. I am going to give my game ball to the Vikings running back room. I'm not just talking Dalvin Cook, because Alexander Madison, even though he had 5 carries only in the game, he also, when he had those 5 carries, he got 40 yards. That's 8 yards a carry, and he had the big touchdown as well. So I'm also including him on this. But Dalvin and Madison, they looked dominant today in the run game. I think I would have liked to seen Madison get in there a little bit more at times. I don't think there was a necessity for Kirk to throw the ball 36 times today. But and not saying that he can't throw the ball 36 times. I'm just saying, as good as we were running the football, I don't think we needed to throw the ball 36 times. So I think it would have been nicer to see the running game a little bit more, because when Alexander Madison's averaging 8 yards a carry and Dalvin's averaging 5.5 on 20 carries for 111 yards and a touchdown, like what are we doing? Like, keep running the football. And I understand you have to mix it up. I would have been happier if Kirk's completion attempts were more around or attempts, I should say, through the air would have been around the 25 to 30-ish, at most 30-ish range. Obviously got to keep the defense honest, and you have to throw the ball, and we have playmakers to throw to the ball too. But I would have liked to seen probably another 5 to 10 carries for the running game in the game today, just based on how well we were running the football.
Yeah, well, I couldn't agree with you more. Are we giving 2 game balls or 3 game balls?
I'll stop.
No. I was, because I was going to say my second game ball was to Dalvin, so we're in agreement. I'm not going to give a third one to Kirk, but if you make me give a third one, I can give it to Kirk. I was going to say, if I am going to give a third one, then I would give it to Kirk Cousins, because at the end of the day, while I don't think his play today was elite or fantastic, I would say that he didn't do anything that lost us today's game. He didn't throw any interceptions. I don't think he put us in that many bad positions. I thought the offensive line left a lot to be desired, and that's really not on Kirk. I felt like the play design also left a little bit desired. I mean, there were a few times where he was under a lot of pressure, and all I'm thinking is, where's the outlet? I mean, don't get me wrong, as a Vikings fan, I am tired of dump-off passes, don't get me wrong, but we still need them to be there, and there were a few moments where, there was just coverage sacks. The few that he took, it was like, there's nobody open because there's no one in the flats. There is no one within 15 yards of your quarterback. To me, unless your offense is humming, that's not a good play call, because that means your quarterback has nowhere else to go. And it's not like we're talking about Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson or, even a guy like Skylar Thompson that's got a little bit of mobility to him. I mean, Kirk can move, but, do I really want him to move? Like, no, I don't. So, yeah, I think that he gets my ghost third game ball. Overall, not a bad game for Kirk. If he plays like that every game, we still need the defense to show up, but we probably still win a lot of games.
Yeah, I hear you. But I do. Yeah. Let's go Vikings 6-1. Some more deep passes. Yeah, it would be nice. But as you said, Tony, if you don't have protection, you can't do it. I'll give one more game ball. You've given 3. I'll give my third. So I'm going to give it to Ryan Wright, because we don't talk about him enough, mainly because I don't like talking about punters, because I'm an Iowa fan and I talk about punters too much already. But I got to give Ryan Wright some love here. He had a couple of punts inside the 20, had a 58-yard punt in the game as well, and he pinned the Cardinals back deep on that final drive when they were driving down the field. And then obviously Kyler Murray took 2 sacks there in the end, and that ended up being the end of that. But it was a nice. There was one punt that was maybe a little bit shorter than normal for Ryan Wright, but he's still averaging 47 yards a punt in the game. I mean, that's pretty solid, I would say, for a punter. So I think Ryan Wright deserves a game ball. I'll give him a game ball.
Yeah, you like to see the big fella go out there and hit some punts, man. He still continues to impress. I don't know what happened on that muff punt, but he got hammered pretty hard on that punt. I remember thinking, "Oh, is this going to be a flag?" And then, of course, that was overshadowed by the fact that we ended up picking up a loose ball there. So then we don't care, And is he injured? No. Okay, fine. Get off the field. But overall, yeah, I continue to be pretty impressed with him, and a little underwhelmed. We talked about this a few weeks back, but a little underwhelmed with Joseph's ability to be consistent, and something that we talked about on this podcast just a few short weeks ago, which is the consistency of our kickers and how I don't want to see Joseph start to snowball some of these little misses here and there because they do tend to snowball. I would just like to see him have a perfect week with extra points and field goals. And certainly let's hope that's next week because we're going to need him. But I know it's only an extra point, and I know we won the game. But, if we're looking towards the future, it's little things like that. Again, that can be the difference between winning and losing. So certainly stuff to clean up there in the special teams room, even though, yes, right has been a bright spot.
Oh my goodness. So I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, but apparently Patrick Peterson, after the Vikings got an interception, Patrick Peterson trolled Kyler Murray by doing a Call of Duty type of celebration. Let me see. Let me see if I can. It's I don't think I can actually show it, but amazing.
Is his bottom getting closer to the ground? Yes, I'll take that as a yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Then we know. That's all we need. Now we know. Yes, I understand. How about Bradbury getting the taunting? Geez, Bradbury getting out there talking some smack, huh? Apparently.
Yeah. And it's interesting because of all the people to talk smack, I wouldn't think Garrett Bradbury, after the last few years of his career, would have much room to talk, but apparently he does.
Yeah. I don't know what he said, and it's not usual that you see the offensive lineman getting the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. I guess I'm sure, and being, of course, a realist here, I think it's because he stood over him. Like, that's generally been called for the last few years, where they don't like that, the taunting. It wasn't on sports, it was taunting. And but yeah, it did make me chuckle when I first heard the penalty, because it says taunting, and then they say 56. And I was in my kitchen getting another adult beverage, and I'm thinking, 56? Who's 56? And it's Garrett Bradbury, and it did make me laugh. So
that's funny. That's funny. Well, I've got one more segment I want to do here, Tony. I'm just full of ideas today. So let's start a new segment today. And I know we're going to you started a segment on your show, and we might eventually do that on other shows as well. But List of the Week is the show title or the segment title that I'm going to do here. So, and this is a little bit off football. So if you're welcome to keep putting your football thoughts and questions in here. We do have one more. Yes, more ideas. Love it. Appreciate it. But List of the Week, since Halloween is on Monday, let's do a little list here. Let's do a 3-item list. I'm going to do my top 3 Halloween candies. I'm going to have you do your top 3 Halloween candies. We're going to go back and forth here quick. Number 3 for me, I'm going to start at number 3, then I'll go to you. We'll go back and forth. But I'm going to say my number 3 Halloween candy. Make sure to put your comments in as well. I I'm gonna say peanut butter M&Ms. I love peanut butter M&Ms. I know there's some people that don't like them, but I love peanut butter and chocolate, and anytime they're mixed, so that's gonna be my number 3, which may come in handy when you hear what my number 1 is. But that's a spoiler alert for later. So Tony, how about your number 3 Halloween candy on your list of the week here?
Okay, well, the thing is, Carson, I need to ask. Now, I'm not going to pick the peanut butter M&Ms as my number 3, even though those are very good and that's a fantastic choice. Can we pick the same candies?
That is a good question.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'd say yes, or maybe not. Maybe we should.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just say that, well, if this was available, I would have taken this. So maybe we need to do that. Maybe we'll say you can't take mine, I can't take yours, and then we maybe need to re-rank our lists by the end, which could be kind of fun. So let's do it that way. Look at us being creative on air here.
I like it. So we're drafting candies, basically.
Pretty
much.
Okay. So my number
this segment is not stolen,
though.
That's right. I'm gonna say my number 3 then. I'll see your peanut butter M&Ms, and I'm gonna go in the number 3 spot. Snickers. I'm gonna go Snickers as my number 3.
All right. I like it. Snickers, you can't go wrong. You're not you when you're hungry. So that is a good choice. My next choice, and I have a feeling I might regret doing this just because I want my number 1 to be my number 1, but you might take it at number 2. We'll see. So my number 2, I don't think you were going to take this. Maybe you would. But I am going to go with maybe an underrated choice, but I absolutely love them. Mr. Goodbar. I love me some Mr. Goodbar.
Ooh, that is a good pick. That is a good pick. That is an underrated candy. A little bit of chocolate, a little bit of peanuts. I like it. Number 2 then in my list, I'm gonna go with Twix. Got to go with Twix. It's an elite pick.
Undefeated. Twix is undefeated. But you know what's even more undefeated? The big Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I love me some... The big ones especially. Like, I love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups just in general, but the big ones, like the king-size ones, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is the reason why I am like I am. But that is my number 1. The big cup Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are my number 1. And even though I don't think many people give them out as a Halloween candy, it's still my favorite. So, Tony?
Yeah, that definitely is an elite pick because that would have been my number 1. So fantastic pick there, Carson. Yeah, save me from myself. The peanut butter cups are fantastic. So with all of that being out of the way, I've got to come up with another number 1. And if I have to come up with another number 1, I'm gonna go a little deep into the old Halloween bag, if you will. And I'm gonna go with the Midnight, so dark chocolate. Yep, you got it. The dark chocolate. What is it? It's not Snickers. It's the other one. Why can't I think of it?
Hershey's.
No, it's the other with the nougat. Not Three Musketeers. Milky Way. The Midnight Milky Way. There it is. Yeah, it's the Midnight Milky Way. That's going to be the number 1, and I'm feeling pretty good about it.
The Midnight Milky Way. Yes. I love Milky Way. It's probably in my top 10. But yeah, it is good. I do have to have one of those every now and then, but good choice. Good choice. Let us know your thoughts. What are your top picks for Halloween? But Any other thoughts from you guys as well on the game? Make sure to put them in the comments as well. But let's get to final statements here. Appreciate everybody tuning in and everybody that'll tune in later as well. I know we get quite a few that watch after we've gone live, so we appreciate that as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and give my final statement is like, yes, keep winning, but let's not have this type of game every single week. Please, please. Like next week, can we not have a close game? Can we win by 10, 15, 20 points against Washington? Maybe not. But that's my hope. That's my goal, is to see the Vikings just turn on the Jets, turn on the Jets as in Jay Jettis, but also turning on the Jets in the idea of putting the hammer down. Like, let's put the pedal to the metal. Let's keep this rolling. Let's not just, I know the defenses make plays and stuff, but the Vikings, that fourth down, man, that was so disappointing. Like I said, that was the most disappointing thing about this game to me, other than obviously Greg Joseph, but I've come to expect that. The most disappointing thing was that play call, those two play calls, no running on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. That was the tough part for me to watch in this game. So let's be consistent on offense going forward, and let's put the hammer down when we get the opportunity, and let's get some more consistent play calls. And I know KOC is going to probably figure this out, and we are going to see more of that, and I'm ready for it. Let's just see it. We've been saying that we're ready for it. We're ready for everything to click, and I still don't think we've seen everything click on this offense yet. And for the Vikings to be Super Bowl contenders, going back to Rapp's question at the beginning, for the Vikings to be Super Bowl contenders, even an aberration of that, just any idea of that, they have to be a top 10 minimum offense. I think they need to be a top 5 offense, just based on how bad at times that our defense can be when they aren't getting turnovers like we saw today. That's my statement. Tony, let's go over to you for your final statement.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the biggest thing is just being able to take advantage of the opportunities when we have them. When we have turnovers, turning them into points consistently, it's just so key to winning. And I know that's cliche. I know that any analyst would tell you that, but it is true. And that's why they say that. That's why winning teams are winning teams, is because when they have opportunities, they turn them into points. And they turn them into ways to separate themselves from another team. I mean, really, today we were close to that. I would say this has been the first game all season where I felt like we were just an inch away from being in that category. I mean, really, if you think about it, we were an extra point away. Because if we would have been up by 9, I mean, what do we care? I mean, obviously we care, but boy, I wouldn't have felt quite as uneasy with them getting the ball back with 2 minutes if we were up by 2 scores. Because they would have had to get a touchdown and an extra point and then get the ball back again, right? But having them still within 1 score, it lets teams hang around, and teams that have talent, which all teams do, but especially the teams that have, a lot of top tier talent, it's going to be tough to consistently win those games. We've talked about sustainability, and it's just, we're going to have to continue to evolve if we want to sustain winning, because at our current rate, I don't know if it is sustainable. So, looking forward to next week. Excited about the Bills game. Worried, but very excited. I'm really excited to see them play tonight and absolutely take care of the Packers. I think, again, really, really good opportunity for the Vikings. If the Packers fall to 3-5, Vikings are 6-1. Boy, that's going to be a tough sled for any team looking to take us out of the number 1 spot. So, go Bills tonight. Don't go Bills next week.
There you have it. Bills Mafia. Oh, you probably didn't even hear the horn there. Let's try that again. There you go. Go Bills. my favorite team, whoever is playing the Packers, number 2, number 1, obviously, Vikings. There you go. I had a shirt that said that once. I don't know where it is, but I might have to dig it out at some point. But anyways, appreciate Let's Go Vikings, man. Really appreciate you staying with us for this pretty much whole thing, man. Really appreciate it. I like that top 3. I may have a few qualms with it, but I know Tony likes it. So Tony, you want to go ahead and
it's an elite take. Let's Go Vikings. Obviously, you know the proper ranking. No, I'm kidding. Those are all really good. All the candies are fantastic. If I were to pick my 3, it would probably go the same, but with the Reese's at the top with Carson there. So I probably would go Snickers, and then the Twix, and then the Reese's at the top. But that Milky Way, it's a sneaky one, and I love dark chocolate. So that midnight one's elite.
Not bad at all. But yes, let's kill the Commanders. I agree. Kill the commies. Absolutely. Hopefully we can do that next week, 37-13. Yeah, man, really appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you'll join us again next week. We'll do this again after the commies game. And hopefully the Vikings will be 7-1 heading into Buffalo in a couple of weeks. But make sure to join us this week. We will have an episode. Not sure if it'll be live or not, but we will have an episode previewing the Commanders game, most likely with somebody from the Washington side. So you can ask your questions and hear from their side what they believe about the commies and their future and all that, and also just in general on the game. So make sure to be ready for that. And also, Tony, I'll let you talk about your show as well.
Yeah, so really looking forward to this week. We've got another great episode for Skol with Steggy. That's our other segment that we do where we bring in other artists, comedians, entertainers that are also big sports fans. They might be Vikings fans or they might be fans of other teams, but it's just a great way to get some fans in, talk ball. And then, we talk betting lines. We also talk about fantasy football outlooks and all that fun stuff. So first 2 episodes are out. You can go check those out, which are out on YouTube right now. And certainly looking forward to episode 3 this week.
Love it. Give it the horn. Absolutely. Maybe that should be a new hashtag. Give it the horn. Or give me the horn. Or whatever. You know.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully you tune in for the other episodes, and going forward, we love having you a part of it. If you are feeling generous, no pressure, but if you're feeling generous, please think about giving us some help on Venmo. We'd love to get some more help to continue building this thing here, the Skol Purple Podcast. So it's Skol Purple Pod at Skol Purple Pod on Venmo. And obviously you can't see that right there. So there you go. Skol Purple Pod on Venmo, if you would be so willing. If not, that's fine. We'll keep giving you content regardless. So Tony, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, and if you have any interest in sponsoring the show, we are more than happy to pitch any of your products here on the Skol Purple Podcast, as long as you're not the Green Bay Packers. That is probably the only sponsorship we may turn down.
Give them the horn. Hashtag give them the horn. Absolutely. All right. Very good. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in to the Skol Purple Podcast Fan Express line today. Again, the Vikings victorious over the visiting Arizona Cardinals 34-26. So Vikings are now 6-1 going into Washington next Sunday. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, and as always, Skol. Bye.